Alright, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Released in 1937, this is the first animated film ever to be released in theaters. You know, going into this film, to be completely honest with you, I didn't know what to think. When I was younger, I watched this movie so many times, me and my sister. You know, and we're little kids, you know, we're like, we don't think, princess, you know, we don't really think anything of it. Oh, look at Dopey, so silly, look at his big ears flapping around, you know what I mean? Like, we don't really think anything of it, and we just, you know, we understood the basic storyline and, you know, whatever was going on with the Snow White and the evil queen and the prince and all that, you know, but we didn't. Not that there's that much deeper messaging in this film. I mean, it's a pretty simple story, simple beginning, simple end. I mean, you know, being the first animated film, that was gonna happen. Very, you know, a little predictable, a little whatever. But it's freaking, you know, it's Snow White. Everyone knows this movie. It's iconic. I mean, it started the trend of princess movies that Disney would continue to do and continue to produce, and you know, they would all be very, very successful also. I mean, you know, all these characters, they're all, especially in these Disney movies, they're all so iconic to this day. I mean, yeah, this was Walt Disney's first movie, first big hit. I mean, you know, Mickey Mouse came before this, but this was a feature film, you know, this was the big leagues. So what's the plot of this movie? If you didn't know, you know, the story follows a young princess named Snow White. She runs away to a small cottage in the woods to escape the wrath of the evil queen, who is jealous of Snow White because she is the only one more fair than she is in all of the land. Which, to be honest with you, I mean, if this queen, if she's a runner-up in this town, in this land, I mean, this must not be a very good-looking area, because this lady, I don't even know what look she's trying to pull. I mean, she looks like a thumb. It's like she's trying to cosplay as Mickey Mouse with like that whole, with like the thing on the top of her head. I don't know what's going on here, but this is not very good. You know, this movie, it has a certain charm to it that you don't get nowadays. You don't get, I don't know, oh my gosh, you know, people say all the time, oh, they don't make it like they used to, but I mean, the 2D animation, which is admittedly a little rough, you know, being the first animated film, they had to iron out a few kinks, definitely, but it has a certain charm to it, and obviously there is still, you know, it's not perfect, there's still some weird stuff with it being the first animated movie. I mean, you know, I found it really interesting. Snow White eats an apple, and then, you know, they show the funeral or whatever that they hold for her. But then they say what happens, like, through text. Like, all of a sudden, like, the visual storytelling is kind of, like, thrown out the window, and it's like, it says to you, like, oh, like, you know, winter came, but they didn't want to bury her. And, like, this is text that they have on the screen. You know, it's like they don't show it, and it's like I've never seen anything like this before. The rest of the movie is brilliant with like the visual storytelling and everything. I don't know, it was just a little off to me. I was like, why would they? Whatever. And honestly, the dialogue in this movie, like between the dwarves and Snow White, it just feels so natural and it feels so real. Like there's so many scenes where it's like the dwarves are just joking around and having a good time, and it's like it just reminds me of how you joke around with your friends. The fact that they were able to create such realistic dialogue on their first shot like that is just like, it's so impressive to me. Where this movie goes in the ranking, I enjoyed it a lot. When I was watching the movie and I heard the songs, you know, some of them I forgot, but it's like, again, this movie is very nostalgic to me, so it all came it was actually kind of emotional. It all came rushing back to when I was little, and it's just the song. So many of the songs are so iconic. You know, you see, I keep referring to like modern animation and modern Disney, and there's still a lot of great animated movies being made nowadays. But I mean, even like these modern Disney movies like Wish, you look and you're just like, these songs are gonna be forgotten the second you come out of the freaking theater. You know, and one point I find really interesting actually is the iconic song the Dwarfs sing, hi ho, it's off to work we go. You know what's really funny? The first time they sing it, that's actually not what they say, because they're going home from work. So they say, hi ho, it's home from work we go. That's like some sort of Mandela effect thing that like not nearly enough people talk about, because that kind of blew my mind when I heard that again. The heart that went into this, the heart that went into the production and the voice acting and the character design, and I mean everything. Charm. It has a certain charm to it that you don't have nowadays, and you know, in some Disney movies and a lot of animated films. So it makes sense to me why this movie is as iconic as it was. Where it goes in the ranking? You know, they made me do a minimum of like 4 or 5 movies down here, because you can't really make a ranking with one movie. To be honest with you, I think this is a solid A. You know, it's not revolutionary. I mean, it actually, for the time, it was revolutionary. But it's not anything incredible. It's not anything incredible, but again, for what it did at the time, and you know, the simple and charming story that it told, I mean, it's crazy. Being the first animated film, it's a solid film all around. I think A's the right spot to put it. Not quite S, but definitely better than B. So yeah, here's the first ranking. First movie on our tier list. The next movie on our list is going to be Gulliver's Travels, released 2 years later, almost to the day. Snow White was on December 21st. Gulliver's Travels is December 22nd. It's going to be the next movie on our list. So yeah, I'll see you soon.